Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. The jet setting era. As you can probably tell, I love me some mid-century style, music, architecture, and the idea of the jet setting lifestyle. And I absolutely love the Polerouter. And what's amazing is the Polerouter is a product of the jet setting era. Alright, so I have a cup of coffee here because yes, I do drink coffee late at night. Let's kick back and tell the story of the Polerouter's history. So in 1952, the SAS, or Scandinavian Airline System, became the first airline to offer commercial trans-Arctic flights. They did this to shave off time going from LA to Copenhagen, so the flights went from 36 hours to 22. However, as you could imagine, such a groundbreaking new flight path also had some problems. Flying that close to the North Pole wreaks havoc on watches, and being able to tell accurate time as part of the flight crew is critical. I actually had a watch that became magnetized, and I really have no idea how it happened, but out of the blue the watch began running really fast. So I tried the compass technique, where you move a compass over the watch, and sure enough, the needle on the compass moved as I moved it over the watch. So I bought a demagnetizer and it totally helped there. However, when you're part of an airline crew flying over the North Pole, watches becoming magnetized is a serious problem. So the airline hired Universal Geneve to deal with this problem. And Universal Geneve pulled in a little-known designer who was only 23 years old at the time to tackle this. And of course that designer was Gerald Genta. And his resulting design is the absolutely amazing Polerouter. So the initial Polerouter design was actually a no-date watch, and it featured the SAS logo on the dial. At least the first few hundred pieces did. And what was really cool is when the crew returned from their inaugural flight to LA, the crew was given Polerouters with the SAS logo on them. I want my employer to give me a watch that's as awesome as a Polerouter. That would be amazing. Originally, these watches were actually called Polerouters. Polar. But later on, the line was changed to the Polerouters. So when these watches were officially released to the public in 1954, they were still referred to as Polerouters. It wasn't until 1955 that they were renamed to Polerouter. To be totally honest, for some reason, even just the name Polerouter is super exciting to me. Maybe it's because I've been drooling over them for so long. Yeah, I'm weird. So the Polerouters and the early Polerouters were powered by a bumper movement, the caliber 138. Later models featured the caliber 215. But later on, the company made improvements, and that caliber is 218. And the later models featured that movement. At the time that Polerouters were being produced, they were actually high-end pieces in Universal Geneve's catalog. And I can totally see why. They are so amazing. Seriously, I went to the movies tonight, and afterward, I was washing my hands at the sink, and just seeing this watch in the mirror, I'm still amazed at how gorgeous it is. Seriously, out in the wild, these watches are absolutely beautiful. So after their release in 1954, these watches were produced all the way up till 1969. And there were other variants that kind of took liberties with the theme. So there was the Polerouter Sub and the Polerouter Deluxe, which actually looks pretty amazing too. That's pretty cool looking. Sadly, they tried to revive it in the 80s and 90s and flopped terribly. My guess is they probably did not nail the aesthetic. Alright, so that is the brief history of the Polerouter, one of my absolute favorite watches. Thanks for watching.